go first. Karen, here.
It, I can go first if no one else.
Okay, Yoshida, go ahead.
Okay, so as I kind of already semi-introduced myself, I'm Yoshita Sharma. I'm from San Jose, California. I'm working here right now. Yasmin, like you, I also did my bachelor's in computer science from India, and I did my master's from USC, also in computer science. So I kind of came from down south to north here in the Silicon Valley to get a little bit of experience. I've worked as a solutions engineer and then now again as a software engineer. Started off as a software engineering intern here in the US. And actually, during that experience, I got to work a little bit with Python, data filtering. I mean, I'd always studied Python, of course, in computer science. You study basics of different languages, but actually, I got to apply Python for data analysis during that internship, and that kind of got me interested into the data analytics part. And even though my industries till now have been a little bit different, I'm kind of trying to make a take a turn into this, because eventually I want to be in a product level position, so like a TPM or things like that. And I feel that data analytics is a very, very important part for that role. Hopefully, if I get to learn a little bit more about this and somehow gain some practical experience, that'll bring me closer to my goal. So that's the agenda. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's all.
Awesome. Kara, are you able to join? Are you able to give us a, well, Kara,
Hello?
yeah, go ahead. Yes, please, go ahead.
You said my name. You said my name, right?
Ye-
My name is
Yes.
Cara. I'm a medical assistant. I've been a medical assistant for 10 years. I just went to a trade school back in 2011, and I've been doing that ever since. I know I don't want to go into nursing. I'm just trying to move away from healthcare, and I'm just trying to see maybe something in tech. Tech will pique my interest, and that's why I'm in this workshop right now. I'm from Chicago. I moved here three years ago.
Awesome.
And I can
Kendall.
go.
Kendall is actually part of our team. Yeah.
I kind of introduced myself a little bit before, but hi, I'm Kendall. I'm originally from Seattle. And as I said, I'm down in Baja right now working remote. And I actually just joined the Skillspire team to help out with digital marketing. So this is my first workshop too. So I'm learning along with you guys.
Yeah, I think my connection is pretty bad. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
it's just kind of going in and out, and it keeps saying bad network quality. So I'm just okay. I think we have one more person who just joined. Uh, maybe not. Okay. So yeah, I'm having some sort of technical difficulty. So I'll go ahead and get started. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep. Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Keep saying that I have bad network quality. So um okay, so we're always, saying, what is data analytics? It's a question that, comes up very often. You probably heard the term big data, machine learning. It's being thrown around very casually these days, and it's definitely popular. There are plenty of courses teaching data analytics. There are plenty of people who are interested in data analytics. Anyone who doesn't want to get into, say, the nitty-gritty coding software side of things, want to definitely get into data analytics. It's a good work-life balance, I would say. Not as intense as coding, but at the same time very analytical and a storytelling aspect to it. So, and we see that, you know, every, and it's in the raw form. Did I lose you guys? Is everybody there? Hi, Krista.
Yeah, if you're still on the first screen, then that's fine. But the title screen, don't know if you've changed it yet.
No, I haven't. I haven't yet.
Oh, okay.
So everyone is collecting data in the raw form, and you know, in the raw form, it doesn't really mean anything. So this particular course, or data analytics is the field, is basically looking at or analyzing data to create some structure, order, and make some informed decisions out of it. So trying to come up with insights and inferences that might help a company make informed decisions looking at past data. So why break into data analytics? Well, number one, I would say is there's a huge demand for it. Every company, as I mentioned, is definitely collecting this data, but they don't necessarily know what to do with this data. And there is a high demand for data analytics. And according to LinkedIn, it's predicted that, you know, it's supposed to create about what, 11.5 million jobs by 2026. And so if you are getting in right now into the industry, that as you climb the industry and climb the industry ladder, you're going to be able to command a much better salary as the years go by. And you know, even according to Glassdoor, data scientists make an average of about 116,000 per year. And it's definitely, you know, high up there as one of the most lucrative career options in tech itself. Of course, that doesn't mean that, you know, right out of the boot camp, you know, you're going to make that amount of money, but you know, and because your salary is obviously going to be dependent on the job itself. And since most of us are getting into this industry and hope to work our way up as a data scientist role, the average is something that we can all aim for and achieve. Career versatility. By this, I mean, since there is money. Sorry. Kendall, would you be able to admit, are you able to see the screen when someone joins? Would you be able to admit them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, thank you. So by this, I mean that, you know, since data is being used to drive decisions in every industry, any industry, automobile, aviation, finance, insurance, you can choose which industry you want to be in. And, and with your domain expertise, you know, you can get in and be in a data analytics field. So say for instance, Cara, for instance, comes from a healthcare background. So her background in healthcare will actually help quite a bit when she gets into data analytics. So in this yeah, so and then that's the transferable skills, and it's easier to get started. You know, you might think that you have to be, say, a computer whiz, or you have to know some language, or a language, you know, a particular programming language to get started, but you know, it's not the case. You know, there is coding involved, and it also depends on the job itself, but there are a lot of other things which we'll get into, that would actually be very, very useful. Say, for instance, you know Python, and if it's even the intermediate level Python, and that should be sufficient for you. So I'm going to go through very quickly the Gartner Analytics Maturity Model. Gartner is, of course, an industry standard, and they've come up with a model where typically this is the trajectory that most companies go through when they're looking at data analytics, and it has different phases. The first phase being descriptive analytics, The second being diagnostic. Descriptive is what happened. Say, for instance, sales plummeted in a particular, for instance, Amazon came up with, I was just listening to their sales actually went down in the first quarter. So now they would have to go back and say, what happened, in the first quarter of 2022, everyone's coming back from the pandemic. They are, shopping, going in person shopping. So, they have to look at a lot more than just, um, a lot more than just guesses that we would, think and then coming up with solutions. Why did it happen? So that's the next phase, which is the diagnostic side of things. And then predicting, what will happen if you were to do certain things, and looking at that. And then the final stage is, how can we make it happen? Say you want, sales to double, triple, or quadruple, then how can we make that happen? How can we alleviate some of the problems that we saw before? So it goes from, from information that we gather and clean, and the data that thing, and then getting into more of, the optimization thing. So it's hindsight, looking at past data, and then insight, and then a foresight of looking at future, how do we make the decision? So if I were to get into descriptive analytics, so in this stage, you're basically looking at already existing data, and you're trying to make sense of it, just as I mentioned about, the Amazon sales. Usually you're just trying to make it so that the data is something that you can look at and understand what you're seeing. You're using tools such as Excel, Excel for data, SQL a lot because you're dealing with data, Power BI, which is a data visualization tool to summarize and visualize the data in a way that is understandable. So every company today uses this, or at least should be using at very least. And this is where a lot of the entry-level data jobs are being created. So when you see a job for, say, a junior data analyst position, these are the skills that they're definitely looking for: Excel, SQL, Power BI, and maybe a very little bit of, Python. For example, if you work for a car manufacturer, and you want to know how many of each car model was bought in the last year or in the last 5 years, if that's the question that you're trying to answer, then you're going to be proficient in Excel, you're going to be proficient. You may be, familiar with a lot of these reports, like pie charts, um, bar graphs, This is what you would be creating, from the data that you're looking at. So now we get into diagnostic analytics. So this stage, it looks at the data and tries to find out why something is happening. For example, why are customers more happy with this model and not the other one? What could the reasons be behind that? So data mining, in this stage, data mining comes into play here. So you're actually basically trying to find relationships and dependencies between all the different variables that might be at play in a particular company. So data mining techniques such as, classification, clustering, correlation, regression, and trying to figure out why these things are happening the way they are is, very, very needed. So again, for example, if your manager asks you, um, why customers like this model of the car rather than that model, then that's what you just, showed him. Here you are going to collect all your reports, and then, why is this happening? Maybe this model has a particular feature that's, customers seem to really like and enjoy, or maybe this particular one doesn't have that model. So it's a combination of reasons, and you're going to be, you're probably going to be, using these clustering techniques, classification and correlation to figure out, how and why certain things are happening. Sorry, that's my phone here. So next we get into the prediction side of things, the predictive analytics. At this stage, you're trying to use data to predict up to a level of certainty as to what could happen, sort of predicting the future. That's, of course, predictive analytics. So there is no algorithm or technology that can really tell you with 100% certainty what is going to happen, but you can use the probability theory, the probability that we all studied, back in, I don't know, high school or college. So the probability theory and establish relationships and dependencies to predict the most likely outcome. At this stage, you're using machine learning and AI techniques and learning how to model in order to come up with predictions that would help the company make more accurate decisions or just come up with different insights. For example, the weather app, how do they predict, what the weather is going to be? So yes, it's not going to be the 100% certainty, but but they get pretty close, and it's getting better and better with all of these new techniques that are coming out. So they're looking at dependencies, they're looking at the probabilities to give you the most likely outcome. So there is one example that really, there's one example that in the next screen, this is about predicting, who's going to win in the elections, when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump was, that was one prediction. But then there is another one that really, really was fascinating to me. And this was Target. Target, that, the shopping mall that we always, the department store that we shop at, started sending this one customer things about baby products, diapers, coupons for diapers and food thing. And the father of this girl got really, really, because I think she was a very young, maybe a high schooler or young teenager. And when he started receiving all these things, he was very mad, very angry. And he reached out to Target and just like, what is going on here? Why are you sending such, coupons for my, say my teenage daughter? And, and lo and behold, Target knew that this girl was actually going into Target and looking at, what, the pregnancy, what do you call that? The pregnancy, the kit, so she's been doing that for a while, that they had a sense and insight, and because of the data, that they had all that information. I mean, before even that, the family member knew. And it goes to tell you how much information is being collected anytime we walk into a store and anytime we like something on Facebook or click something on Facebook, and the next thing that, we're bombarded with, ads and, materials that, that we're looking for. Prescriptive analytics. This is, of course, it's, very prescribing something. So the same way a doctor tries to prescribe medicines that, that will lead you to good health, you're trying to use techniques and methods to inform a company about the best next steps to take. At this stage of analytics, you're probably using a lot of machine learning and AI with a huge emphasis on optimization. So not a lot of companies are at this stage yet using prescriptive analytics, but it's an extremely powerful tool. So in different industries, say for instance in healthcare, a health insurance company analyzes its data and finds that many of its, say, diabetic patients also suffer from retinopathy, an eye disease. So with this information, the provider can use this predictive analytics to get an idea of how many more ophthalmology claims it might receive, in the next year. Then using, this, the insight, we can also look at scenarios where the reimbursement costs for these, ophthalmologic cases might increase or decrease or hold steady. So the business can make some very important informed decisions about how to proceed in a very cost-effective way that also serves its customers. Say for instance, if you're in sales, you can tell where your customers are in their purchasing process. You can figure out which customers are most likely to complete a sale or tend to, go first, or tend to the ones that come first and tend to the ones that may be on the fence a little later. So being retail, it's the same thing. You can, Amazon looks at analytics very, very heavily. What are people buying? And then, suggesting things that you may want to buy with. Higher education is the same way. What courses are prospective students enrolling in? What kind of classes should we have? How should we staff them? Do we want to have it remote? Do we want to have it in person? So, I think every industry, if you look at banking is also another huge industry that uses data analytics, to make better financial decisions based on your habits. So sports is another one. There was a movie, I believe, Moneyball, which used, data analytics extensively to predict, the success rate of a certain player. So this is, as I mentioned, in several industries and, areas. So what makes a good data scientist and analyst? This is a very, very useful Venn diagram. It's a combination of, three different things. So you don't have to be an expert in all these three domains, but it's definitely helps to have a little bit of experience in all these three. And if you have maybe two, it's easy to bring on the other one, or learn the other aspect. So say, for instance, computer science is a huge subject. There are so many aspects to computer science that you definitely cannot be an expert in. But I'd say you definitely need to know programming or know a couple of languages when you're coming from the, like Yoshita here, who mentioned that, she comes from a computer science background, and for her, maybe math and stats and computer science, maybe you may already know this, but you may want to work on the domain expertise or the subject matter expertise. So and when it comes to math, you don't have to be a whiz in math. A little bit of maybe statistics, some differential equations, if you definitely want to go to work with AI models and stuff, that's very useful. When you get into more of the data science, it becomes very important. So when it comes to the domain emphasis, that's, what your interest is. So for Cara, who comes from healthcare, maybe she might want to, emphasize a little bit more on the, on the healthcare side of things. Any questions so far?
Hands up. Yeah, I think there's two questions.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I go? Okay. Yeah, so I had a question when you talked about, this is Yoshita. I had a question when you talked about the subject matter expertise. By that do you mean the industry that one person is working in, or what does it mean, like healthcare or retail or things like that?
Right, exactly. So we have a lot of people who come from sales. I mean, I'm just for the courses, we have a lot of people who come from healthcare background. They've dealt with data, and they say that, hey, I'm in the healthcare field. I'm tired of this thing, but I want to get into tech. What can I do? So then this is a great way to transfer their skills. There are lots of transferable skills. So you already know this domain, which is the healthcare domain, and you bring that expertise. And when you're analyzing data, you're able to use that expertise to make some, informed decisions.
Right. So what I was coming to was that subject matter expertise. Does it can one person gain this by only working in the industry, in that particular industry, or are there any courses, or is it recommended that a person studies that particular industry first and then go for a job? How does it
No,
work?
no. So and I think, because you coming from a computer science, you can go into any field. It doesn't matter. It's good to have, but if you don't have it, it's perfectly fine. These two are definitely, because it's going to be a lot of, computing models that you would be doing, and with math. So you can go into any field. It just opens it up for you.
Okay. So subject matter expertise can be gained later by
Oh,
experience.
yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, I had an admin question actually. I missed the starting half. Where can we get the recording?
We can send you the recording once this is done.
Will you email?
Yeah, by email, yes.
Okay, great.
Do-
Thank you.
Do leave your email on the chat so that, we can,
Uh,
if you missed any part of the recording, we can, send it over to you.
I tried to do that, but I couldn't find the chat button over here, so that's why I had to ask. Oh my, I apologize for that.
No, 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 no worries. The chat button is there, here. It's right here. Are you not able to see it?
It's on the bar of the Teams Microsoft, where you switch on and switch off your camera and mic. Just there's a conversation button.
Okay, thank you.
You found it?
Any other questions? Okay. So now we kind of, we're switching gears, and there's definitely a lot of options out there. And, why would you choose a boot camp versus a university? Well, it's definitely your choice. Not if you're somebody who's been to college and you already have a degree, 4-year degree, and you don't have the time or you don't have the money, then I would say that, a coding boot camp is a great alternative. In a matter of, say, 3 to 6 months, you would learn pretty much the exact same thing as you would learn in a university setting. In fact, the instructor who's going to be teaching this, he's a Berkeley graduate from University of Berkeley. And, in fact, when he came on board last year and wanted to teach, he said, hey, some of the things that I studied, I went to college to study for 2 years in data science. They didn't actually cover this thing. And that's like the Excel side of things, or the Power BI was not actually covered. But then, since we are focused a little bit more on the industry and what jobs are out there, we've tailored our content very consciously around, what jobs are, what the industry is asking for. So, and then, of course, if you're going into universities, I don't have to tell you that there are lots of foundation courses that you would have to take, like the English literature, the biology, or whatever that. And, so if you've gone through all those things and you want to I just want to get into data science, that's my focus, then I think a boot camp is definitely a good choice. And, in addition to, of course, the technical training that you get, you become part of our community. We help you with your resume, we help you with your job search. We provide you with an internship, which is a guaranteed internship after you finish our program. And we have a partnership with a company here in Seattle, where you are provided that internship, and the mentor is actually a senior software engineering manager at Microsoft, and his mentorship is huge. So he meets with you at least twice a week and goes over, technical skills, communication skills, the soft skills that you need. So those are, valuable things that you may or may not get it from the university. Last but not the least, I would say that, we're just much more affordable. And, if you were to, I don't have a figure as such for what industry universities charge, but then ours is is much more affordable, and you get that community and the mentorship throughout till you get your first job. In fact, even after you get the first job, we tend to keep in touch with our students even after they've graduated. Any questions?
Yeah, what is the cost of your program?
Yeah, that's coming up in the next slide. Okay, so in the first, let me just touch on the course the coursework, and then we'll get into the details of the course, the course details. So in the first introductory course, we touch on Excel, some common Excel functions, SQL, Power BI. A lot of companies are still using these things extensively. So if you're just starting out in the industry, there's a lot you can do with these tools. And the third part, which is like the Power BI, with which you can create a bunch of visualizations and dashboards. We're also starting an introduction to Python. Previously, we did not, but going forward, we are, just to get you started, so that the transition to the advanced course is a little bit easier. In the advanced course, you're learning, much hands-on Python coding, exploratory data analytics, modeling, forecasting, machine learning, decision trees, neural networks, logistics regression, everything that you think that has to do with data science. This is where you're learning. It's the whole 9 yards. So this is the advanced course. Now the course details, as somebody asked me, the next course starts actually May 4th, which is next Wednesday. Typically the coursework is 18 hours per week, and there's about 3 hours of live instruction, and the rest of the time is lab. So, the instructor would come in, lecture, live instruction for 3 hours per week, and then the rest of the time, you are working on your projects, assignments, and homework, I would say. So the course fee for the introductory course is $38.99, and for the advanced is $5,049. This comes out to, I believe, $89.50. So if you sign up for both the courses at the same time, then you get a bundle discount of $950 off. We do offer monthly payments over the 6-7 months. You can pay it over the 7 months. And just as a promotion, if you attended this workshop, we are giving you a discount of $250 off. So you're welcome to, let us know that, hey, I attended the workshop, and you can get that $250 off. Any questions here? Any questions? Cara? We have some hands up. I'm just seeing everybody's hands up.
Oh, yeah, this is Cara. I don't have a question. I was just when you were talking about the cost of the program a little bit ago, and like comparing to other courses, I was looking at UW, and there's just like 12,000. So this is definitely a better option.
Yeah. And I think, the internship itself is 3 to 6 months, and that's a huge attraction for our students, I would say. So, I mean, you work with us for, say, 3 to 6 months, and so it's 3 months. The introductory course is 3 months, the advanced course is 3 months, and then you get into the internship for 3 to 6 months. And typically our students are also, looking for jobs and interviewing during the time that they're doing the internship. We have both. Some people say that, no, I want to just take this time to, really, understand, go a little bit more in depth into SQL. So, I'm going to just, take this time to study more and work on projects. Some others say that, no, I'm ready, I'd love to job search. And one thing that I did not mention is also, we have partnerships with companies, and we've been, aggressively working with, industry partners where, once you finish with us, and once you have your resume and everything and you're comfortable, we actually share that with our partners. So when there's a job opening, this company, the consulting company or a staffing company will tell us, hey, we have an opening for a data analyst job. Last week, we had about 5 openings come up, and these are for entry level. And, and so they've taken some of our students, and, our students are in the process of interviewing. So those are some of the, partnerships that we're also actively working with. So that's another, added advantage of working with us. Yeah, Krista?
So I wanted to ask, do you have to be 18 years of age?
Say that again. Sorry.
Do you have to be 18 years of age?
Well, typically all of our courses are for, I would say, 18 and up, because we are training them for a job at the end of the course. But that being said, I've actually we've had people enroll when they're in high school, because they have been introduced in their CS courses or whatever, that, data analytics, and they want to get a head start, and they have enrolled and they've done very well. Introductory course is very easy, actually. I would say, because, it's basically SQL. You will learn SQL programming language. Power BI is an easy tool, and you would actually get a head start. So I would say I wouldn't go less than, say, 16, 17, but 18 should be okay.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yoshida, you have your hands up. Did you have a question?
Oh no, I forgot to put lower my hand. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Krista.
That I accidentally raised it.
Okay, good. Some of the other people, we actually went ahead and, introduced all of ourselves. We have Nicole here. Nicole, you want to just give a little bit of background as to, what your background and what is your interest in data analytics?
Sure. Hi. I'm a outcomes coordinator in a hospital, and I was just looking to maybe branch out into data. I'm getting a little bored here.
Yeah. We're hearing that a lot. There are a lot of nurse practitioners, CNA people. We have Cara here. I think she's you are a nurse, right, Cara? Yeah. So there are a lot of people from the healthcare industry.
Oh, no. I'm a medical assistant. I'm not a
medical assistant. Sorry. Yeah. We do see a lot of people moving from healthcare to tech. So, and if you've dealt with any sort of data, then I think that definitely helps. Sulecha, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us your interest in data analytics?
Yeah, I'm already into the field. I'm just looking to increase my knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, so you're already in data analytics?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whereabouts are you? Meaning, are you the advanced side or in the?
No, I'm just a beginner. Yeah.
Okay. Questions? I know I went through it pretty fast. Please feel free to ask me any questions.
Yeah. I'm able to send my email to a person on the participant list. So, can I send my email to you? Are you receiving my questions? Miss
I am not seeing your messages on the chat window.
Yeah, because it's not going on the chat for some reason. I am not able to locate it. I don't know what the problem is. So, but I am able to message you.
Okay, here. I'm gonna message you here so that. Are you seeing my message now?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
where I had messaged you as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So can you email me the requirement, the recording over there?
I didn't see your email. Can you put that in the chat again? And this is my email. I'm gonna leave my email here on the chat. Any questions that you might have, please feel free to send it to me. And who came through Facebook or who has come through Meetup? Nicole, Nicole and Krista, I think, you know, I may or may not have your email. Yoshida as well. If please do, you know, leave your email here so that we can send you the recording. And you know, any other information, then we can, you know, send it to you as the course goes by. Any other questions? Kendall, did you want to give them some background about our, if you have anything you want to add?
Sorry, I was just admitting that guess. I was wondering actually if you wanted to talk a little bit about where folks from our program have been hired, like what specific companies, because we talked a little bit about the Seattle tech scene, but just kind of what opportunities are out there for entry-level folks after the internship.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say that you know, our alumni have definitely gone anywhere from the smaller startups. Excuse me. They've gone anywhere from the smaller startups to the big companies, Amazon, Microsoft. I know that Microsoft is hiring a lot of analyst positions as well. And in between, you know, Expedia, Alaska Airlines, Seattle Children's Hospital, United Healthcare, data analyst jobs. I think I feel like, you know, if I were to compare full stack web development to data analyst jobs, the students in data analytics seem to get them faster. Excuse me, get a job a little bit more faster than the data analyst. I mean, full stack web development, and makes sense because, you know, these are tools that are much more easier to learn, and coding, of course, when it gets into software engineering, you do need much more practice and projects oriented. Hi, Robert.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Go ahead, Yoshida.
Oh, I thought somebody else had my hand raised before me. Somebody had, or not? Okay, I can go ahead. So my question was, in terms of job applications, I actually did try for a while getting into maybe like business intelligence analyst and things like that. But I guess my background is not traditionally data science, so I never end up getting calls. So if I want to make that kind of shift, what do I need to do?
Well, the most important thing is to have a portfolio of projects. So in our program, you know, in both the courses, you'll be working towards a capstone project. I'm sure you've done that in your, you know, college as well. So those things are really, really important. And then, you know, when you do get in front of the interview, and, you know, hiring manager being able to, you know, intelligently talk about the tools that you've used and how you've analyzed and how you predicted certain things. So those things go a long way. And also your resume, you know, networking is really, really important. Your resume needs to speak to those projects, having the right words in there. You know, I think if it goes through the ATS system, then I think you need to be able to have those key words in there. So, you know, we have one of our team members, Terry, you know, who kind of helps you in those kinds of things. And I would say that, you know, networking is really, really important. You know, we can provide only 50% of the knowledge that the rest comes from you. And, you know, you need to be out there, you know, kind of selling yourself. But, you know, right now the market is spectacular, I should say. I mean, there's a lot of demand. So the earlier you get in and get these skills, you'll be in the market, and say 6 months from now, and you should be able to do it. Robert, did you have any questions? I know you just joined recently. Okay, so any other questions? So let me ask you this, I know you're here and you are interested. What is it that is stopping you? What is a barrier for you to get started?
Well, I'm still driving. I'm trying to raise my hand.
Yeah.
Can I go first?
Go ahead, please.
Almost back to work. I think what's stopping me is I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm still fairly young. I'm 30. I'm 31. I have 2 kids, so it doesn't. I feel older than I am. But maybe just like it's because I put in so much work into healthcare that making that jump into tech, I feel like I won't find anything. I feel like it'll be a waste. And at this point, I really don't have any more time to waste. And I have kids, and it just scares me making a whole different career path. Like, am I going to be successful? That's what I'm trying to say.
I can completely empathize with you, Cara. You don't want to invest your time and money into something where you feel like that you're not going to get the return, right? But I can tell you with certainty that if you put in 100% of your effort and time, you would absolutely make it. I mean, I've seen that happen with students. And the only reason that something would not work is if you don't give it your complete commitment. If you are saying that, hey, I'm going to just give it a try and see if it's going to work, it's not going to. You have to just give it your all. And if you do that, I am positive you can get into the field. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's just your complete, commitment. And, you got to be driven. It's like, okay, you know what, I'm switching and this is the way I'm going. And come what may, I'm going to do it. You will absolutely be able to nail it. Anyone else? What is your barrier to moving forward? I know Nicole's typing something, so we'll wait for Nicole. Okay, she has to go back to work. Okay, thank you really for joining. I know this is, during your lunch break. I appreciate you joining, Nicole. Anybody else? Any other questions? One of the biggest barrier that people definitely say is the money. I mean, it's like, yeah, you're a small boot camp and, why should we invest in you? Well, we've been around for 6+ years now. And we are, I would say, like a boutique coding boot camp. So which means that our class sizes are small. So we give you 100% attention. And I personally know pretty much every single person that's been through our program. And I still do keep in touch. And they actually come as like, hey, Yasmin, you told me this, this, and this. And, when are we going to see this? And they personally come and ask me questions. So we have that community support, which is huge, especially when you're transitioning into tech. Tech can definitely be a little overwhelming with all the jargon that they throw out there. We definitely make it a lot more accessible and, and affordable. And, anytime all of us, when we make a decision that, hey, I want to learn this thing, then there is money involved. Absolutely, you can go ahead and do it in Udemy and, kind of try to do your own way. But when you're stuck in some problem, do you have a person that you can turn to? Are they available to help you through some of the blocks that, that you might come across, which you will, for sure, absolutely. So that's when we come in and we're able to help you navigate through those challenges.
And I'll just add, I think that's a difference that I've seen looking at other competitors, other coding boot camps. Just in my first week, I'm a marketer for SkillsFire. I'm just starting. This is my first week. For those who don't know, my name is Kendall. Is that they're not all live. And so some of these, you don't even know if it's a live instruction or if it's a video until you've signed up. And there's just not the kind of ability to ask questions in the moment like there would be in a live classroom setting. So I think that's unique.
Yeah, thank you, Kendall. Thank you, Cara, for joining. You've been very patient. You were the first one to join. Yes, you're going into a garage and elevator. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Cara is trying to make a decision between full stack web development and data analytics. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Robert, we never heard from you. Do you want to unmute and maybe tell us a little bit about your background and why you're interested in data analytics?
Yeah, thank you. Okay,
Yep.
for the background, I'm from the business management side. I've had experience working in the bank and other things with different roles. So I just decided to branch to the tech side in a way, and I think the business analytics fits well to my dreams, what I want to do in the future. So that's why I want to do it.
Yeah, I think you kind of joined a little late. We have people.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, no problem. We have people coming from very different backgrounds, business background, retail, sales, computer science, healthcare, aviation, Boeing actually uses, data analytics to a very great extent. So there has been, I think regardless of what industry you come from, we all know that data is being collected and everyone's very focused on data-driven decisions. So data analytics is here to stay, for sure. And Robert, if you can, drop in your email in the chat, I would really appreciate it. Then we can send you the recording if you have missed the first part of it.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, well, we're actually finishing on time, right on the hour. So thank you so much for attending. And as I mentioned, our next cohort is starting on Wednesday, on May 4th. And if you attended this workshop, you do get the promotional discount of $250 off. Let me know and we will honor that. Any other questions before we drop off? Thank you, Robert. Thank you all for attending and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.